attractive home of John and Margaret Bryant, the home they've always dreamed of, the happiest investment they have ever made. At last, the Bryants have all the space they need. Big floor-to-ceiling closets for each member of the family. Large, comfortable bedrooms. Zoned living areas, a feature in the plan of their home. Assure convenience and privacy for various family activities. Distinctive architectural details create a lovely setting that enhance the pleasure of entertaining. The Bryants have had opportunity for individual expression in this and other interiors throughout the house, in their selection of such things as wall and floor coverings, and the accent colors of fixtures and appointments. The patio, easily reached through sliding glass doors, provides an outdoor living room, ideal for separate activities. At the center of the family activity area, an efficient kitchen saves countless steps and needless effort in the preparation and serving of meals. From the wide selection of components available, Margaret Bryant planned her kitchen just the way she wanted it, with an abundance of work and cabinet space, countertop cooking units, built-in oven, and other handy and helpful features. The separate dining room is another feature that delights Margaret Bryant in her new home, for it permits her to enjoy her guests while entertaining graciously. This is how American families are living in their new homes. And now this is Bill Moody returning you to Frank Blair.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo-Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man. Remember Lot's wife. Remember Lot's wife, the American dream. And the video I just played for you is seemingly what is considered the American dream. You know, the so-called big house, the white picket fence, the 2.5 children, the social life, the next door neighbors, you know, that was considered the American dream that was pitched to the Americans back in the late 50s, you know, early 60s, you know. And it's still being perpetuated today as the American dream. You know, you can own a piece of that American dream, that sound mind, you know, having somewhere or having something to call your own, you know. That was the pitch to the American dream. So remember Lot's wife, the American dream, because, you know, sooner or later, it's going to come down to what do you want to do? You want to continue to live this American dream? Or you want to flee, you know, because we getting ready to leave up out of America, Babylon the Great, and you can't have anything attached to this, you know, kingdom, okay? So remember Lot's wife, because what? She turned back and was turned into a pillar of salt. Excuse me. She wanted to stay in Sodom and Gomorrah, and a lot of our people are going to want to stay here with this Babylonian mindset. Okay, a lot of our people, speaking of the 2/3, don't want to leave America. You know, they want to be part of Egypt. They want to be part of Sodom and Gomorrah. They want to live that American dream. So remember Lot's wife, the American dream, okay? because we coming into a time where, people ain't going to want to lose everything that they have worked so hard for to obtain in this society. Whether that be the big, 2-story house with the white picket fence and the 2.5 children, the 2 children and the dog, they're going to feel that we work too hard to lose, whatever it is that we've obtained here on this side, because, individuals are telling us that, that this man's kingdom is getting ready to fall. They're not going to believe it until the last second. It's going to be too late by that time. So remember Lot's wife, the American dream. That's a cautionary tale, for those of us that are in the faith, in the truth, because we know that this place is coming to an end, all right? And we praying that it is sooner rather than later, We praying that Jacob's trouble hits and everything implodes and collapses on itself. And, if you tied to this system, this, society, you're not going to want to leave. You're going to want to continue to stay here and, wallow in your filthiness. And you're going to look back and just be turned into that pillar of salt like Lot's wife once those missiles come, okay? Because it's going to be too late by that time. So remember Lot's wife. This is Genesis 19 and 13. And this is the angels. And this is 13. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahweh. And Yahweh have sent us to destroy it. 14. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for Yahweh will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. So his sons-in-law was looking at him like, you mocking us. This place ain't gonna, be destroyed. We don't see this place ever, being destroyed. And that's the mindset of the 2/3 today. They hear the warnings, they don't take heed because they don't think something like this could ever happen. 15 says, and when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city, right? Because Sodom and Gomorrah, there was a lot of, things that were going on that was why they had to be, destroyed. There was a lot of, same sex on sex type of stuff going on, man. It was just filled with, iniquity. So they had to destroy, speaking of these angels that were sent by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, they had to destroy this city. Okay? So 15 says, and because Lot took them in, the angels of the Most High, they were going to preserve Lot, that he would not be destroyed with the city. Okay, so it says 15, and when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. 16, and while he lingered, the man laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, and Yahweh being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. Right? So the angels of the Most High, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, teleported Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters out of the city and brought them right there out on the verge of the city. So he transported them out of the city unto the brinks of that city so that they wouldn't be consumed with the fire. Okay? Now verse 17 says, and it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee. Okay? So don't turn back and look back and, see what's going on, how we destroying this city. These were the directions and the commandments that the angel gave to Lot and his wife and his 2 daughters, his family. So the angel said, and it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. 18, and Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Verse 19 says, Behold, now thy servant have found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy. which thou hast shewed unto me, in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil take me and I die. So Lot said, you have showed mercy to me. Can, you give me another place, or can I choose another place to escape besides the mountain, lest I should die? So verse 20 says, behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. It is not a little one, and my soul shall live. 21. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted the Slakia. 21 says, and he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. So the angel said, okay, we're not going to overthrow this city, so you can flee into this city right here. But you got to remember, they still was told not to look back. 22, haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. 23, the sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. 24, then Yahweh rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahweh out of heaven. And Yahweh going to rain that same fire and brimstone on America, which is Babylon the Great, via by the way of those thermonuclear missiles, those ICBM missiles, for the judgment for all the, atrocities and iniquity that has been building up on this land. That's why it's likened to Sodom and Gomorrah, because, there's a lot of lascivious things that's going on here in America, which is Babylon the Great, the city of confusion. You got same, sex on sex. You got all different types of just, man, you can't even imagine, man, the things that's going on here in America, Babylon the Great, So 25 says, and he overthrew those cities, speaking of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. So he, destroyed everything, vegetation, the people, everything. 26 says, but his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So remember Lot's wife, the American dream. She didn't want to leave Sodom and Gomorrah because she had a lot tied to them cities, She wanted to stay. She didn't take heed to the angels' directives. The angels told her not to look back. She just had to look back. And a lot of our people, the 2/3, they're going to look back. They can't receive the message. They don't want to leave Babylon the Great. They want the American dream, the white picket fence, the 2-story house, the 2.5 children, all that just representing, just having something that they can hold on to, instead of being what America was supposed to be meant for, our captivity, and for us to wake up out of these, nightmares and, come into the truth. They want to use America to hold on to, to build, to continue to stay here in this wicked system, all right? This was supposed to be our bondage, where we come to serve hard bondage and to wake up to these prophecies and wake up to who we are after we served our time in Egypt, which is synonymous with bondage, which is America, okay? But no, the 2/3 of our people, they want to continue to live like this place will never end. Speaking of like what we read in the beginning, like Lot's son-in-laws, like they was looking at Lot like, you marking us, this place ain't, these cities ain't gonna never be destroyed, okay? And that's the same way our people here today look at the, the messages and the, heed that we give to them. They look at it like, y'all been saying that for, decades, ain't nothing changed, okay? But it's all coming to an end because we in these last days, the signs are here and our people won't get it. That's okay, because they're going to be turned into that pillar of salt too. They going to have that same mindset and come in that same, mind as Lot's wife, and they're going to look back, and that's going to be it. They're going to be transformed. They're going to be turned into a pillar of salt like Lot's wife. So 26 says, but his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. Right. She couldn't just keep moving and looking forward and don't look back. The angels warned them, told them not to look back, and she did. All right. And she was turned into a pillar of salt. Now, this is Luke 17 and verse 32. It says, remember Lot's wife. And that's what we talking about. Remember Lot's wife. She had to look back. She couldn't just keep moving forward. She liked it, her, you know, she liked it, her 2-story house, her white picket fence, her social life that she had put together with her neighbors. She liked the enemies of living here in Babylon the Great. Now, I'm not talking about Lot, wife as if she's living in the modern day time, but I'm talking about the spirit that, of Lot's wife that's on our people. Speaking of the 2/3, they love the social status they have in this society. They love having the big houses. They like having, just the things that America can give you to keep you pacified. They like that. They don't want to see this place end. They want to continue to look back, and eventually that's going to cost them, with their life. They're going to be turned into that pillar of salt because they can't get over the fact that America, Babylon the Great, Egypt, wasn't meant for us to build and to stay here for. We were only sent here for a small time, to serve out our sentence. Those of us who are waking up to the truth, we know this. Okay, but the 2/3, they're going to continue to stay asleep all the way up until the missiles come, all right? And they're going to be turned into that pillar of salt. Remember Lot's wife. They don't want to let go of this American dream, which is actually an American nightmare. So verse 31, jumping up one, it says, in that day, he which shall be upon the housetop and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. So wherever you at, man, when you see all hell break loose, don't go back looking for, things that you left behind. This is not the time to try to, accumulate and save the things that you got here in America, Babylon the Great, because all this stuff is going to get burned up in that fire, man. You gotta remember the first things, the most important things, you having the wisdom, understanding, the knowledge of this truth, that's what you looking for. That's what you holding on to. You're not looking for, material stuff. All right. That's why it says, give us this day our daily bread. You get just enough for your daily bread. You don't try to put and store stuff for weeks and months on end, because you never know. You might not be able to get back to that stuff. And now you tied to that stuff, and you emotionally tied with that. And you don't want to lose your, your wealth or whatever it is that you feel like you don't build up here in this society, and you turn back to go get it. And now you turn into a pillar of salt. Meaning that you want to go back into your ways and live, back under the heathen mindset after coming into this truth. Now you turn back and go back into your heathenistic ways and become an American, have an American mindset. And now you want to, because you don't think that judgment is ever going to come after you done, came into the truth for a little bit, and you see things are still the way they were before you came into the truth, and you start to question yourself, what does it do, or what purpose does it serve for me to stay in the truth if I can't indulge in the things that I like, such as celebrating, holidays and birthdays and, doing whatever I want to do, because that's the mindset of an American. All right. And that's why Lot's wife looked back, because she didn't want to let all that stuff go. She had doubt. She second guessed herself. She didn't want to let those things go. She wanted to continue to stay in that Sodom and Gomorrah mindset, those cities. She wanted to continue to stay there. She had to look back. She couldn't believe what the angel told her. She couldn't believe it. She just had to turn around and look. And that's the mindset of 2/3 of our people. They hear the warning, they don't take heed, they continue to go about their life like nothing will ever change. All right. They don't want to, look forward for the kingdom. They want to look back and continue to live in this American Hellenistic, mindset, this Western's mindset, which influencing majority of the world through its doctrines, its philosophies, such as Christianity. That's a heavy one right there. They spread Christianity out. They spread Christianity throughout just about the whole earth. All right. Outside of, certain cities and countries over there in the Eastern Hemisphere, but for the majority part of the Western Hemisphere is under that Christian mindset, or has been under that Christian mindset for the longest, okay? So remember Lot's wife, she looked back. She couldn't just continue to look forward, she couldn't look forward to salvation. She had one thing, and that was just to keep moving forward, not to look back. And a lot of our people, they come in that same mindset that they don't want to look forward to salvation, to getting up out of here. They hear the truth, they hear the word, but yet they can't continue to look forward. They got to turn back. Something is grabbing them and telling them to look back, and that's that devouring lion, that devil, that our adversary, the roaring lion, he got them looking back. He whatever it is that it is, he uses to get them to turn around and look back, and that's all it takes. Just a little tap on the shoulder, and what? They're going to turn back and see what it is, If you was giving directions not to look back, if somebody tap you on your shoulder, don't look back for nothing. If you hear something drop, don't look back for nothing. Your only directive is to go forward, look forward. You looking back, you're going to get off that straight and narrow path. That's going to lead you to get on that wide and broad, path, Just look forward. Don't get, thrown off by hearing something behind you and you turn back and look. That's all it takes, is a distraction. You got to stay focused. All right? Matter of fact, let's read that in Matthew. The 7th chapter and the 13th verse. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Right, so it tells us to enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. So when you on that broad, road, there's a lot of distractions that can distract you from staying on that straight and narrow path. Okay. And if you look back, you're gonna, put yourself in subjectivity to being on that wide and broad path. Okay. So you have to continue to look straight and keep on that straight and narrow, that straight and narrow path. Now, give me 1 second. Okay. So verse 14 says, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Right, so only a few is going to be able to be kept on that straight and narrow path. That straight and what? It says, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way. So only a few, That's why it says we're going to be like as pilgrims in that day. Make yourself ready to the battle. You're going to have to be held accountable for yourself. Lot couldn't keep his wife from looking back. He could only be accounted for himself to look forward. All right. He couldn't tell his wife, or make his wife not look back. She gonna look back because that was her lot. That was just what she was meant to, do. She had to look back. She wanted her 2-story house. She wanted her white picket fence. She wanted her social life. She just couldn't let it go. Okay. And for the most part, the 2/3 is going to be comprised of the women here in Babylon the Great, our women. Because what? They're not going to want to let go of that power that the serpent has given them. Okay? They're not going to want to let go of their executive career. The serpent gave them all type of benefits here in this society. They ain't going to want to keep straight. They're going to want to turn back and get on that wide and broad gate. Okay? They don't want to let go of their careers. The serpent has given them the impression that they are independent. via by the way of the songs that they put out for the, female artists. The popular one, the so-called queen, the queen Beyonce, she put out a song, All My Independent Womens. If you like it, put a ring on it. Okay? The serpent uses, tactics to throw our people off. All right? So the women, our women, majority of them is going to be comprised of the 2/3. They're not going to want to, continue to look forward because they know that the serpent has given them a lot here in this society. Okay? So let's read verse 14 again. It says, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. That's right. That's why you got to keep your eye on the prize. You got to keep that single eye. All right? Tells us in Matthew the 6th chapter. And 22, it says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So if your eye is single and it's on the prize, you're not going to get sidetracked and looked off. You're not going to look over your shoulder, turn around and get sidetracked, because that's all it takes is a momentary lapse of, you losing focus. That's why you keep your eye single on this light, this truth. Okay? And you continue to walk on that straight and narrow path. Okay? You don't turn around and you don't get distracted. We're too close to the finish line for you to be thrown off by the slightest of a pin that could drop behind you and you look back to see what it was. You've been given instructions, you've been told to repent, come out of your wicked ways, the kingdom is almost here. You've been told to continue to have faith and believe, believe on Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, that he's sending his son, Yahweh Shai, to come back to deliver us out of this land of our captivity. All right? It's too close to crunch time, to game time, for you to be slipping up and making these errors. All right? Sooner or later, the famine of the word gonna hit, and you ain't gonna be able to find information like this. You're gonna have to rely on what you was able to accumulate in those times that we had in this mercy, this grace period. All right? So it says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. 23, but if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. Right? So if you just want to look back and you don't want to, continue to move forward and, strive for the finish line, you don't want to fight for the truth until death, you're going to be full of evilness and darkness, and you're going to look back. You're going to want to stay here in this kingdom, and you're going to have to get the consequences that come along with that, the judgments. Okay? It says, but if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High, Yahweh, and Mammon. That's, money. You can't serve both. You can't have this American dream knowing that it's coming to an end and try to serve the Most High. Because why? You're going to put this American dream, this nightmare, as your God. You're not going to want to leave it. You're going to continue to wallow in its filthiness. You're going to continue to participate in these holidays. You're going to continue to eat whatever you want to eat. You're going to continue to not believe that there is a Lord and Savior, our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai. You're going to continue to believe that he's never coming. And you're going to continue to serve Mammon, okay? The greed, the money, okay? So you have to have that eye single, full of light, okay? And staying on that straight and narrow path is going to keep your eye and single, full of light, all right? So not being distracted by, the, luxuries of this world, okay? Because you can easily be distracted and turn around and look back over your shoulder and be turned into that pillar of salt and never to be found again, all right? So you got to keep your eyes single and full of light. Got to stay on that straight and narrow path, and you can't turn back. You can't turn around, okay? So remember Lot's wife, the American dream. the American tale, for those of us here in Babylon the Great, because this place is not going to be saved. This place is subject and is doomed to judgment. This is going to be that lake of hell, that fire. All right. This place is going to be set on fire from sea to shining sea, from coast to coast, from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, from the North all the way to the South. America, Babylon the Great, is going to be set on fire with thermonuclear missiles. Okay? So you have no reason to turn around and to look back for anything in this society. All right? So remember Lot's wife. All right? So let's go ahead and close out 1 Peter 5 and 8. And let's take it from there. 1 Peter 5 and 8 says, be sober, be vigilant. Okay, continue to look forward. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye single, full of light. Because what? Because your adversary, the devil, he want to throw something behind you and have you turn around and look back. You've been given instructions not to look back, but the devil will try to get you to look back. He will pick up a rock and throw it behind you just so you could turn back and look. And wow, just like that, you've been thrown off the straight and narrow path. Now you on the wide and broad path. And we know that path is the way to destruction. Okay? So it says, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And that's what he do. He walks about, seeking whom he may devour. Oh, that looks like a rock I could throw, cause some kind of commotion, get him to look back. Oh, that looks like a bottle. If I throw it over there, slightly behind her and it shatters and break, she gonna look back. After she was told don't look back, she gonna look back. See, you got to have this mindset. It's got to be, your eye got to be single, full of light. You're not gonna turn around and look back over your shoulder. You don't hear those distractions, okay? That's all it is distractions, seeing families and friends what they perceive to be having a good time living it up here in America, celebrating these holidays, eating these abominable foods, okay? You're going to see things on TV that promotes wickedness, that get you to, contemplate about, committing sin. But we know through the truth what sin is, so we're not going to commit it. We know we're not supposed to be doing acts and lascivious acts with the same sex. We know we're not supposed to be cheating and engaging in these different types of lifestyles with these new marriages that they got going on, E&Ms, where you do like sort of like wife swaps and spouse swaps and stuff like that. We not down with that. We know these things are frowned upon. We're not gonna get distracted by this devil throwing things behind us to try to get us to look over our shoulders to turn back. Because the angels told us, okay? The prophets of the Most High, he sent back and he telling us through them that we are not to look back. Keep our eyes single. Look straight forward for the kingdom. Okay? So you got to continue to look straight. Don't get distracted. Don't get sidetracked and turn back and look over your shoulder for anything. Don't turn around for nothing. Okay? We're too close to the end. All right? So I pray someone was edified with this lesson. And if it be the Lord's will, until the next time, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom.